guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to go over everything that you need to know before going back to work if you're breastfeeding and you plan on continue breastfeeding and you want to pump at work. So I know it can be very stressful and you might be thinking a million different things about what it's like, how am I going to do this? Am I allowed to do this? Where am I going to do it? So there's a lot of stuff to go over, so I'm just going to dive right in. So before I jump into all my tips, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I work in a hospital setting. I'm a cardiac sonographer. I've been back to work for a little over 6 months now. My son just turned 9 months old. I've been able to breastfeed the entire time and pump while I'm away from my baby the entire time too. And I first started off, I had a nice routine of pumping 3 times a day. It was about every 3 to 4 hours. I would recommend pumping at first because when they're little, I went back to work when he was 3 months old. So when they're little, they do drink a lot more than the stage that he's at now because he's eating solid foods. He has weaned off of bottles quite a bit. So at first I was pumping about 3 times a day. I would pump around 8 a.m., 11 a.m., and 2 p.m. And they were about 20 minutes long. Each time was about 20 minutes long. That includes setup and cleanup. So, but now that he is a little bit older, like I said, I'm down to 2 times a day and they're about 15 minutes, including setup and cleanup. So it does get a little bit easier. At first, it's very overwhelming and it's a lot to get used to, but make sure you get it into a good routine and a good swing of things and watch a lot of videos, do a lot of research, and you'll feel a lot more comfortable. So, let's see. Another important thing that you want to remember is not to skip pumping session if you can help it. I know it's really hard and sometimes at work we get really busy. I know for myself it's happened a few times where I cannot pump. Like we are just slammed busy. I have patients back to back and I can't pump, and try to avoid it if you can help it because I did notice a difference after I would skip a pump that my milk would decrease, because I know with breastfeeding it's all based off supply and demand. So the more that you pump, the more milk you'll produce, and if you're not pumping as much or if you miss a session, it's like your breast telling you, oh, the baby isn't hungry, so we can slow down, we can cut back on milk supply. So if you can help it, try not to skip. Or some women, if you skip, then you get really engorged and it's really uncomfortable, or you leak and that's really embarrassing. So like I said, before you go back to work, make sure you talk to your employer ahead of time and let them know, I do plan on continuing to breastfeed my child and I will need time in the day to pump and also a place to pump too. I'm pretty fortunate that there's a room right there that I can pump in every day, and if that room's not available, there's upstairs I can go into a different room. So I have a couple of different rooms where I can pump in. Pretty much anywhere where there's an outlet and a little table to set my stuff on, I'm good to go, I can pump. Let's see. Another thing I would definitely recommend is getting yourself a really good double-sided electric pump. What I use here is the Spectra S2 pump. Whacked myself in the face. These are the tubings for it. They connect onto the bottle pieces for the breast pump. And I really like the Spectra. It works really nice. It's really simple, easy to use. Just turn it on here, and I have the plug in my bag, which I'll go over. I'm going to show you my bag and show you everything that I put in my bag, and yeah, go over that. And I did want to mention before I go any further that if somebody gives you a hard time about breastfeeding, or if they say there's no room to pump or you don't have time to pump, that is absolutely incorrect. Under the Affordable Care Act, it is a law that you are able to pump. It's part of the Fair Labor Standard Acts, I believe, so definitely go to HR and go to your manager, or if your manager's giving you a hard time, go to their manager and just tell them, like, it's your right as a mother, as a woman, that you are you need to pump, you need to feed your baby. So just wanted to throw that little rant in there before I got any further. Okay, so now I'm just going to show you my pump bag and what I take to work every day and show you everything that's in it. So this is my pump bag, nothing fancy. They make all sorts of different pump bags that you can get. You can get crazy expensive ones. You can get some really nice ones that open right here, so you don't even have to take your pump out of the bag. You just unzip this and then go from there. But this is actually a bag that I've already had in the past. It's actually a cooler bag. Show you the inside. It's like the cooler material on the inside there, and it's big enough but not too big, and so yeah, it works perfect for what I do. Actually, it's like a Coleman cooler bag. Of course I would have that. But yeah, another thing too is I recommend, if you can afford it, or if you have a friend that used to breastfeed or is going to be finished breastfeeding by the time you are going to have your baby, is to get a second pump, because that, at first I was carrying this back and forth every day and washing the bottles, and it was a lot of work. But now I have a pump that I just leave at home next to my bed all the time, and then I have a pump that I just leave at work all the time, so I'm not carrying this bag back and forth. All I carry is my milk in this little cooler, which makes it so much easier to just have a pump at home and have a pump at work, and you're not bringing them back and forth. So this is my pump bag, and I just leave it at work all the time. So I'll show you what I have inside. Just in a Ziploc bag, I have my pump pieces, and then I have the Spectra. So these are the pieces I use, the bottles and the flanges and everything in there. And usually the first thing I do when I pump at work, obviously I plug it in, and then I lay a towel down. So this is just like a towel that I carry. So I lay that down flat on the table first, and then I can pull out my pieces, and I know that it's like a clean, sanitary spot to pump, because you want to keep it as clean and sanitary as possible. So I lay that down first, and then I take out my pump pieces and hook it all up, do my thing. And then the Ziploc bag is a really good idea, because when I'm done pumping, I don't even like rinse them out or anything. Like, I literally just dump them in the milk collection bottles, and then I put them back in the Ziploc bag, zip them up, and then I put them in the fridge at work, which is really nice, because that way it's not leaking all over, and I don't have to wash it every time in between. Because if there is a little bit of milk left in the bottle, it's in the fridge, and so it's fine that you can pull it out and pump again. Some people might think that's gross or weird, but it's just a little bit of milk. And then at the end of the day, when I'm done pumping for the day, then that's when I take them out and I wash them with soap and like a scrub brush. But for like in between pumps, when I know I'm going to use it again during the day, it's easiest and quickest to just be done pumping, disconnect, take the milk out, put them in the Ziploc bag, and stick it in the fridge so it stays cold and the milk's not getting moldy or anything in there. It's, as long as it's staying at a safe temperature, you can do that. Unless you don't have a fridge at work, then you would have to rinse them out or wash them out every time, and then put your milk on ice or in a cooler. But anyways, that's what I do. It makes it so much easier and quicker. And then I have a little baggie with just some extra breast pump pieces. I definitely recommend that, because there's nothing worse than getting to work and you realize you might have forgotten a piece at home, or you broke a piece. That's happened to me several times. These break so easily. I really like the Spectra pump, but I don't like the breast pump pieces, because I've dropped them on the floor and they break super easy. Like, I've dropped it, and then like this part where it connects in, like this little part breaks off inside there and gets stuck in there, and then you can't pump. So then that's such an awful feeling when you like look down and you broke one and you're like, or you have to do one side at a time, then that takes a lot longer. You might not be able to. So yeah, definitely a couple extra pieces that I have in there, just in case I drop them all the time and they break. And then, yeah, some more extra pieces, some flanges, and then some extra tubing if this one gets clogged, or gets a hole in it or just gets really dirty. And you could change the tubing out. And then I also carry the lids. These are the 2 lids for my pumping bottles, just in case if you forgot your milk storage bags or your milk collection bottles, you have the lids just as a backup so that you can just untwist the top and put the lids on to get them home in case you forgot your bottles, because I have done that before too, and that worked out really well. And then the bottom I just have the plug for my pump. So that's what I keep in the main pocket here. And the pump, of course. And then in this side pocket here, this is kind of funny, I keep a sign because I've already had several people walk in on me when I was pumping at work, and that can be a little bit awkward. So I keep this sign that I just made up. It just says, "Occupied by a pumping mother, please do not disturb. Thank you," with a little cow on it. I know some people might be offended by that, but most people laugh at it and think it's funny, and it definitely works because it stopped people in their tracks, and they usually just laugh about it. So that works really well. So definitely make sure you have a sign if you don't have a lock on your door. If you have a lock on your door, lock it. But I still put the sign too, because people still, even if I have my door locked, they just come and knock, and then it kind of like scares you, and it like actually will like stop your milk stream like right in its spot. So it's like, then you gotta like start all over again. It's weird. And then this side I keep just like usually a little snack. This is just like a Belvita breakfast bar. You gotta make sure you keep your calories up when you're breastfeeding. You get really hungry, so I always have a snack. And then just like my calendar or like a journal, so when you're pumping you can sit down, write a couple things down, just try to relax and you know, get stuff done. If you're pumping, try to multitask at the same time. And then I keep a couple extra milk storage bags. These are like little freezer bags. These are just the ones from Walmart, Parents' Choice. Keep a couple extra of those just in case, like you said, you forget your milk collection bottles, or if you pumped, like for some reason you pumped a lot that day and you filled up your bottles, and you have these just as a backup. And then I keep some like wet ones, antibacterial wipes, so if I forgot my towel, or if you just want to wipe down the area, if you're in like a different spot and you want to wipe down the table really good. Also your breast pump, you should always, before you pump, give it a good wipe down before you pump, and wash and hand sanitize your hands. And yep, some hand sanitizer. Just some bra pads for some leakages, just in case. That's never fun for anyone. It's embarrassing. And then a Sharpie, just in case you want to write down how much you pumped or the date on these bags. You can do that. And then this is just some like nipple cream. I don't really need it anymore. I think after a while, after pumping, your nipples get used to it and it doesn't hurt anymore. But at first I would put this on every time before I pumped, so that it acted kind of like as a lubricant, so it's just not like rubbing when you're pumping, that friction. So I definitely recommend this brand. I really liked it a lot. It's the Boobies Organic. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. Boobies Organic Nipple Cream. I think that brand was actually Bamboobies. So I could be saying that wrong. So yeah, that's everything that I keep in my pump bag. I'll just stick this back in here. Another thing I recommend, because pumping at work can be awkward, especially at first until you're used to it. Now I'm just like, oh, no problem. I just get in there and get it done. But at first it's like you're so nervous, it's weird, it's awkward, you know. So I think a good thing to do is have like your phone available too, and then have like a bunch of pictures. Sometimes I'm pumping, well, at first when I was pumping, I would like look at pictures of my baby or play little videos so that like I could think about him, and it really helped me relax, and I can just feel that like let down, that like tingling sensation that you get right before your milk comes in. So that definitely helped. Or also watch some YouTube videos while you're pumping, just something so it's not just like silent and you're like sitting in the room like all nervous at work and it's weird. So that's what I have in my pump bag. And also I would recommend investing in a nice nursing bra. I think I got this off Amazon. I get everything off Amazon. I love Amazon. This video is not sponsored, by the way. But this is just a nice pumping bra that so you can have your hands free, which is nice. It just has like these holes in the front where you stick your bottle in, and then it just holds it like that, and then you can have your hands free. If you're lucky enough to have your own office, that way you can be like writing emails or typing or on the phone or whatever. So that also comes in handy to have a nursing bra. They're not very comfortable, but they do save a lot of time and stress. And then I just wanted to show you my other little cooler. So this is the cooler. This is actually what I just carry every day back and forth with my milk in it. I like it because it has the clip, so you can just clip it onto your purse or clip it onto your bag or whatever. And it's got a little pocket in the front. I did have my name in here, but it must have fell out. I had like a note card that had my name, so that when I had it in the fridge, people didn't think it was their lunch and go in there. And then this is just what I have inside. It's just 2 collection bottles that I use. And then now that it is summer and it's really cold out in the winter, I didn't really have to worry about an ice pack. But now that it's getting hot out, I keep an ice pack, and it's a nice one with like the indents, so it like fits your bottles really nicely in here. And then these are the bottles I use. I think I just got them at Walmart, and these are like actually the Medela lids, but they fit perfectly on these Walmart bottles. And I like them because they're big. They're like 9 ounces, almost 10 ounces if you filled it all the way up. So it can hold a lot of milk. So I usually take 2 of these, and then when I get home, I just unscrew this lid and put like a lid with a nipple on it, and then just stick it into his lunch bag for the next day, and then he's all ready to go. So that is everything I have to tell you about pumping at work. Just like I said, it's awkward at first. It can be a little stressful, a little overwhelming, but I think the best thing, like I say in almost all of my videos, is to just do a ton of research, watch as many videos as you can ahead of time so that you're prepared, you're mentally prepared. Talk to your boss, talk to your coworkers is also really important, so they know that, hey, I'm gonna have to be taking this time out of my day at this time to pump, and you know, they'll be okay with it as long as you let them know ahead of time and do your research. You'll get a good system down, you get into a good routine, and it actually becomes enjoyable, and you know that you're doing like the best that you can for your baby, and you're still working, and yeah, it's just like boss mom status. So I hope you guys like this video. If I forgot anything, leave them in the comments below and let me know like your pumping story and any tips that you do for pumping at work. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.
Okay.